guys, this is James with RogueDuelist Trade, and on this channel we talk about current and upcoming Yu-Gi-Oh product and whether or not you should invest your money in order to profit. All right guys, I hope you saw part 1 of our risk analysis series for Spirit Charmers, the structure deck, because today we are going to be going over part 2 of our 2-part series for the Spirit Charmers structure deck coming in the TCG in October 22nd, 2020. If you guys haven't seen my part 1 video, there should be a link popping up above my head right now. Definitely go check that out so you guys can come back to part 2 and we can complete our risk analysis on whether or not we should consider investing in the Spirit Charmer structure deck. Guys, before we jump in, if you guys have really been looking forward to joining the Patreon, don't worry. We should be able to take on a lot more patrons early September, and for those patrons that we take on in early September, we'll be able to open up pre-orders for Genesis Impact. So guys, if you want to be kept up to date when we're actually going to be opening up more spots for the Patreon, follow me on Facebook and Instagram. That's one place that I'll be communicating this out. Also, if you guys like Yu-Gi-Oh investment content, you can get dual value by subscribing to this channel and hitting the notification bell. That way you can see great Yu-Gi-Oh investment content from me, and that's also another way for me to notify you guys about the Patreon through the YouTube platform. And also guys, if you want to support this channel for the YouTube algorithm, like this video. All right guys, without further ado, let's jump into part 2 of our 2-part risk analysis on the Spirit Charmer structure deck. So in our part 1 video, we went over our first metric for the risk analysis, which is chase cards. I went over that in detail, but in short, we have some new support cards for Charmers. That's actually very good cards, very good support. I don't know if it's gonna move the needle on huge meta relevance for Charmers. Maybe it'll be seen as a decent engine someday. We're also potentially getting some really good reprints that are coming out of this product that are just generic tech cards in the meta. So with that, we went ahead and graded this as a 4. Also in the last video, we went into detail on the current cards that are seeing buyouts that are actually within the Charmer archetype. So these are current cards in the marketplace. There really wasn't a lot. I really had to go deep to find anything that had some decent fluctuations, but we did. But I wouldn't say it's significant enough, so that's why we went ahead and graded that as a 2. All right guys, so the first new metric that we're gonna be going over in today's part 2 video is meta relevance. First, I have the familiar possessed cards here, really just representing the entire Charmer support and all of the archetypes that follow it. I kind of have already mentioned, I just don't really see this as something that is going to be dominating the meta in any capacity. Again, because there's a lot of generic, like, 1500 defense spellcaster or spellcaster or attribute type synergies, it actually does fit fairly well in the Dogmatica strategy because Ecclesia is a 1500 defense spellcaster monster, plays predominantly spellcasters. The field spell that's played in this deck requires a 1500 defense monster. You can play Secret Village of the spellcasters. It actually can be a pretty decent control strategy. I think in the OCG, they're playing things like Skill Drain and Macrocosmos, which I believe both of those cards are limited for us. So it is a little more difficult in the TCG, and I really don't know, is this the best control variant that you can go towards, which is Charmers versus other very good control strategies. But we are going to be getting some really good meta reprints that I went over in the first video. We're going to be getting evenly matched, which I think the lowest value for that right now is like 19-20 bucks for the ultra rare, and the 2 secret rares are sitting at about 30-35 bucks. And then we have Solemn Warning, which has had a lot of reprints already, but even the common reprints are pretty much like $2, and that's the same with Effect Veiler. And the one really big outlier card, at least in my mind, is Dark Ruler No More. If this card gets reprinted as a common, that is simply amazing. It's not like terribly expensive. It's like $10 or something like that, at least the last time I checked, unless it's gone up. But Dark Ruler No More came out as a world premiere card in the 2019 Gold Sarcophagus tint. But seeing this as a reprint in a structure deck as the first reprint is just crazy to me. But hey, if it happens, this structure deck has really good potential. I mean, if you got 3 of these structure decks as an example, getting 3 evenly matched, 3 Effect Veilers, 3 Dark Ruler No Mores, and 3 Solemn Warnings, that's a pretty good deal in my mind. I mean, if you're just getting into Yu-Gi-Oh, just pick up 3 of these structure decks. You already have some really good tech cards that you can put in your main deck or your side deck. So because of that, that's why I'm grading this a 4. The potential of the cards that could be coming in this, again guys, what I'm going over is from the OCG. I don't know what those 3 cards that we're not going to get is. Definitely take this with a grain of salt, but because you guys have to make decisions in pre-ordering, that's why we have to just use information we have to make decisions on where we invest our money. Because of those reprints, that's why I'm grading this as a 4 for the most part. Our next metric is collector's value, fan favorite anime support, and Charmers is a fan favorite archetype. In the OCG, there was a poll for structure decks that could be made. I think it was like June, July of last year. Charmers were the top 3 from that poll. So because this was graded so well in that, and in addition to that, something that I don't know if this has ever been done in a structure deck before. If it has, let me know down in the comments below. But we are going to be getting some variation in the structure deck. You're not promised the exact same card. We're going to be getting 1 of 4 variant familiar possessed cards, which is pretty crazy that you're not going to get all 4 of them. I believe you get 4 of their original print that's fixed, but you're going to get 1 variant of either of the 4. So having some level of variation creates more collectability in the product, makes people either want to buy more or they're going to be more interested in buying singles, which is good if you're a vendor. And then in addition to that, you can get 1 of 5 potential tokens with different arts on the tokens. So that now adds another level of collectability. So you have a fan favorite archetype, you have some variation on variant art cards that you could get, and then you have some variants on some variant token cards that you can get with different arts. I think they're definitely hitting a lot of marks in ways that I haven't seen structure decks be hit before. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and grade this as probably one of the higher scores in this risk analysis and put this as a 5. Our next metric is influencer and consumer hype on social media. From an influencer perspective, for example, MCole40 was super pumped about this when we first found out that Charmers was gonna be coming in the OCG. And then I saw a follow-up video where he actually saw the cards coming and he felt it was very lackluster and it wasn't that good. At least it's not going to be doing really anything for the strategy. I also saw a video from MBT kind of talking about how it's really not that good, but it can be played in Dogmatica, and he went over that in a 10-minute testing video. But then you have people like Cyberknight, and he did an opening of the OCG structure deck and he was super pumped about it. I kind of see him more as kind of like a representative of like a collector because he loves it just from like the collector's aspect of it. But then from a consumer perspective, I think more people are probably excited about it. I think you definitely have more people that are very critical, for people that are very like into the meta, but for people that are very casual or just love Yu-Gi-Oh and the collectability aspect of it, or just fun niche decks, I think there is a lot of hype on it from that perspective. So I actually went ahead and graded this as a 3 because I really feel it's kind of in the middle. Next metric is product value versus cost. So it's about $80 a display for an 8 count. So that would be $10 a structure deck, which is standard MSRP. And if you pre-order it, I believe on most websites, if you are not buying from a distributor, I think it's roughly $58 a display box. So you're gonna save about $22 for 8 structure decks. And if you're selling it sealed, I guess you could say that's your potential profit, but then you have to take into account fees, you have to take into account shipping, or at the end of the day, you're gonna make like $2 or $3. So selling it sealed is not great. But if you open it up, you have cards potentially, again, because we don't know if it's gonna happen in the TCG, but evenly matched, Dark Ruler No More, Effect Veiler, Solemn Warning, Metaverse, all cards that are about over $1 for cards that have reprints already as commons. And then you have cards like Evenly Match and Dark Ruler No More, which only have higher rarities. Dark Ruler No More only has 1 print. So if Dark Ruler No More actually happens, I believe Evenly Match will happen. I don't know why, I just think that is definitely something that we'll see. I think because those cards basically can pay off the structure deck with just like 4 or 5 cards and you know you're gonna get them, I went ahead and graded this as a 4 because I don't really know what's gonna happen. When I look at the marketplace, pricing isn't like crazy for Charmers, unless you're looking at the Starlight Rares for the Link monsters that have come in previous core sets, or Win the Wind Channeler that recently came in Rise of the Duelist. So we went ahead and put this as a 4. And next is reprint value and rarity bumps. The potential of Evenly Matched, Dark Ruler No More, we're getting reprints of Solemn Warning, Metaverse, Effect Veiler, all very good cards with decent or very good $5 value. And then we're also going to be getting, I believe, upgraded ultra rares of the familiar possessed cards, because you're going to get all 4 of them, and that's a fan favorite. So I went ahead and graded this as a 5. I think this one's due a 5. There's a lot of good things going for it from a reprint or rarity bump perspective for this product. Now guys, before we jump into the score for this risk analysis, I want to quickly go over potential singles that you guys might want to consider investing in, because this structure deck is going to be here in late October. So we only have essentially single prints of Araya, the Water Charmer Gentle, and Hida, the Fire Charmer Ablaze. And Araya is under $1, and Hida, the OTS super rare. Hida did not get a Starlight rare. I believe it has a rare, and it also has an OTS super rare. And the OTS super rare is sitting under $3, and it is from an OTS pack. Those tend to actually help in value. And with Charmers coming out, people might get a lot more hype for Charmers, and if they do, maybe Araya hits the $4 to $5 mark, and maybe Hida hits the $6 to $7, $8 mark. Who knows? It's definitely something I don't feel could go undervalue unless they get reprinted in another product. And I guess technically you could see some of these cards reprinted in Megatons. So maybe if you do invest in it, I would definitely make sure you sell your cards like by July of next year or something like that. And then next are the other Link monsters for the same reason. I'm not going to go into detail on it, but Win you can get for under $2 for the rare. It also has a Starlight rare. And Asa you can get the rare for under $1, and it also has a Starlight rare as well. Now another card that's technically not a Charmer card, but it is a Spellcaster support card, and I believe this is a one of, at least in most Charmer decks, and that is Celine, the Queen of the Master Magicians. She's only had 1 print. She actually was an import from the OCG and Dual Overload, and is under $5 right now. So I definitely could see her value going up. And the other great thing about Celine is that her value could go up for other archetypes outside of Charmers. Archetypes like Pendulums or other Spellcaster type strategies. I definitely think Celine is a safe pickup for the price point that it's at right now. So all right guys, without further ado, let's go over the final score for the risk analysis for the Spirit Charmers structure deck. And the score came out to a 76%. Now, honestly, this isn't terrible. 76% is not bad. It's not great. I think the risk is kind of in the middle. I really don't know what to say about structure decks. I feel like Shadal's went very well. It had Super Poly, and Shadal's actually were very meta relevant, especially at the time that the Shadal structure deck came out. But for this, because Charmers aren't necessarily meta relevant, it's more from like a collectability aspect that people would want it. Although there could be a lot of good cards that come in this, like Dark Ruler No More and Evenly Matched, so I feel like there is some potential good investment in this. And I feel like the collectability of Charmers, really holding on to the structure deck sealed, might be the best bet once they run out of print. Now, Konami has been known to reprint structure decks like 2 years, 3 years or more down the road. But if you hold on to this for a couple of years, I could see this gaining value. Now, it really depends though. Like if it goes from a $10 structure deck to a $20 structure deck in 2 years, is that worth it for you to make like $30 if you bought 3 of the structure decks? I mean, obviously you would want to buy in large quantities if you guys wanted to sit on this for a few years and then slowly offload them and make a pretty significant return. But maybe these could go up far more in value than I'm anticipating. But I think the interesting thing is the reprints that we're getting, like Evenly Matched and Dark Ruler No More. I think it's gonna help the value right now, but think about it, we'll probably be getting other reprints of Evenly Matched and Dark Ruler No More if those cards actually come in the TCG, probably within a year, because that's just kind of how it is. They're very meta relevant right now, and Konami always looks at reprinting meta relevant cards. So again, short term, I feel Evenly Matched and Dark Ruler No More, if they're actually printed, is going to give good value to this product. Long term, I feel like there is a good collectability of it. I feel if you hold on to it for a couple of years before it gets an unlimited wave, you could get more bang for your buck, but the first editions are always going to hold more value. I think I'm going to pass up on it. I'm not going to invest in it. I'll buy singles of it. I might consider getting a good amount of Evenly Matched. I'll definitely be getting at least a playset and Dark Ruler No More, even though I already have a playset of Dark Ruler No More. I just think there's really good singles to pick up from this. But again, from like a long-term perspective, let me know what you guys think. Are you guys going to invest into it from a collectability aspect to gain money down the road? I'd love to learn from you guys, because guys, even though I have a YouTube channel and even though I make these videos, I do it because nobody else does. I'm not an expert. I've been getting into this early this year. I've been learning a ton because of doing this channel, and I learn a ton from you guys. So let me know down in the comments below. All right, guys, that's gonna end it for this video. I think this structure deck's pretty cool. I'd like to know what videos you guys would like to see from me, but things to come. Eventually, I'd like to get a video out on Genesis Impact. I'd like to know more cards that we're getting in that product first before I go and make that risk analysis, so then that way it's more up to date. And then we're also gonna be getting the Dragoonity structure deck. I believe that was confirmed for the TCG. So you're definitely gonna be seeing a video on that. And we'll also do an updated video on Maximum Gold once we get some more information on that in the coming months. And we also have Dragons of Legend, the complete series coming. I feel like people have completely forgotten about that product. That's coming soon. I didn't really think too much of it, but yeah, guys, there's a lot that we're gonna be able to cover. And again, guys, if you wanna see ratio videos on product release, which is extremely invaluable when you're investing in product, we have that information that goes on the Patreon, even for tiers that don't buy product. So if you guys want to get invaluable information to help you make better decisions on your investments, I make exclusive content to my patrons that go on the Patreon. Definitely go check that out for the level 2 and level 4 tiers that aren't able to buy product. I think you guys will definitely see value in it. And guys, the Patreon link is down in the description below. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. We got plenty of content to come. I'll see you in the next video.